This is the fourth and final round of the Mortal Kombat tournament held up in Seattle, Washington, earlier this year. This was an event put on by the Emerald City Trolls, an old school magic group. The organizer's name was Sean. And this is 100% a community fan-made event. It uses custom avatars based on the Mortal Kombat video game franchise, and it was a casual tournament. Everybody was just there to have fun and kind of play with some interesting weird cards and have some interesting weird experiences. I am at the top of the screen playing Sonya Blade, and at the bottom of the screen is Vince playing Sub-Zero. So both of them have projectile-oriented combat abilities here. And the avatars were designed to all be combat-oriented avatars, and they all have built-in kind of kill spell abilities. So if you flip the cards, they have a fatality ability that will allow them to take a step and then strike an avatar on death's door adjacent to them. Which, if you think about it, is pretty huge. It gives you a lot of extra reach and a free strike, essentially, which is something that sorcery games can kind of struggle with sometimes. Once you get your opponent to door, if you are struggling to kind of find a finisher, and I think conceptually that was kind of the thought with this Mortal Kombat flavored. Custom event here. It's just like, well, like, you know, like they're all like fighter avatars, and they all have like this kind of built-in finisher to them. So we both have pretty decent starts here. Vince with an Impenetrable Cops turn 1 onto his home site, which is not what I want to see playing Sonya Blade. I want to be able to kind of, you know, take those projectile shots at him, and it also at the same time leaves him open to be able to projectile freely with Sub-Zero, just because Impenetrable Cops prevents projectiles from entering the site, but if the origin point of the projectile is within the site, there's nothing stopping it from exiting out on that path. My turn 1 was pretty good too, though. I got a Cloud City, which is what I want to see. It's going to give me that extra mobility to move Sonya Blade where I need it to be on the board here to line up projectiles. And then turn 2 with a Wuthering Heights into the center, which again felt pretty good. Vince playing a crawler. And locally, we had talked. We had talked a little bit about kind of what kind of tweaks or custom decks we could make that used these Mortal Kombat themed custom avatars. And we talked a lot about like crawlers, like doing a crawler theme, just because a lot of the abilities were projectile based. And Vince, I think, was the only one that was creative enough to actually see it through and create a deck based around that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't playing like four crawlers in this deck just for that ability. Turn 3 here with the Den of Evil for me. Seeing if I could do anything with it. I'm guessing I can't like fully utilize the ramp. Yeah, unfortunately. Playing at a Stygian Archer. I think the ideal scenario is if I play out something like a Den of Evil or a Tower turn 4, I could ramp 5 mana into a Vampire turn 4. So like a Dapril Vampire or a Renatus Trueblood, which is a pretty good turn 4 play. It forces your opponent to have to answer it, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. Vince beginning his turn 4 here, playing a Troll Bridge. And I think maybe at this point he was contemplating offering a trade with the crawler. He could attack in with the crawler for 3 points of damage, and invite me to block with the archers, just to 1-for-1 that. He doesn't really. He also doesn't seem to like his options here. He's saying that it feels bad what he's about to play. He's moving the crawler onto his troll bridge, and then he's playing a swap to swap his crawler with the Stygian archers. So when the Stygian archers enter the troll bridge, they're going to trigger the troll bridge ability and force me to either discard a card or take 3 points of damage onto that unit. So either lose the archers or lose a card from hand. And I opt to lose a card from hand just because it looks like, I had a Feast for Crows in there, which especially in like this type of matchup, it didn't feel like super strong to have to hold on to here. So kind of pitched that. And I think why Vince was saying that felt kind of dumb and bad to play when he did it was just because it's like when you're doing that move, like you're only getting a 1-for-1. You're paying for a swap to trade a card out of my hand, or you're playing a swap to get rid of the archers. Vince, for forgetting for a moment that the crawlers dodge projectiles. That's essentially the ability that they have in their hand. Projectiles pass over them. So he was saying like, well, why aren't you just using the projectile ability onto the crawlers to shoot them down and create a token? And it's just like, well, I can't do that because of that ability. Instead, I had to just attack the site for 3 points of damage. Taking a move on Cloud City. Playing a Tooth Fairy. And I think that's it, just passing turn. Passing turn back here. Vince still has the opportunity to trade his crawler for the Stygian Archer if he would like to. He's tapping the draw site. Sword and Shield onto the crawler, and that'll allow him to break parity and attack in to the archer and remove the archer. So Vince going with somewhat of a, I think what we call like a Voltron package. So like you take your avatar and you assemble a bunch of like artifact pieces that kind of buff it up with abilities and powers. So it looks like that is kind of something that he's leaning into with this deck. My turn here. I'm going to play a Displace to move the Sword and Shield diagonally 1 space, and then moving the Tooth Fairy to pick it up from Wuthering Heights. And then at this point, I think I'm thinking about where to push the Tooth Fairy with Wuthering Heights. Either push it back onto Cloud City so it is in position to trade the Sword and Shield to Sonya on my next turn, or even that same turn, or to be more aggressive and push it forward onto the Den of Evil. And I think it would have been a better position. It would have been a better choice to push it back and drop it and just give Sonya the Sword and Shield. I think I didn't do that just because it felt safer to have the Tooth Fairy hold it, just because the Tooth Fairy is airborne. It's a little harder to deal with, and it still wouldn't have been in range of Sub-Zero for the projectile. And unless he had some sort of movement trick that he could spend out of hand for it. Again, also a little aggressive on my part, moving forward and playing that Wuthering Heights onto Vince's back row. But I think I was concerned about like the double impenetrable cops back there, and I wanted to be able to have a staging ground to get to him in the future. Vince with a very good response to the Tooth Fairy, playing a flaming sword onto his crawler. So now you can see, like, yeah, he's running some sort of like Voltron package with a bunch of artifacts that can power things up, and attacking into the site for 4 points of damage, and then dealing full splash damage with his power to the Tooth Fairy that inhabits that same site, which will then kill it, and then picking up the sword and shield that now dropped onto that space. So that crawler now just loaded up with goodies, ton of power, and something that I'm going to have to deal with. So Vince also, I think, attacking in with Sub-Zero onto that Wuthering Heights for 2 points of damage, which, I gave him that opportunity to do that, but I think, like I said, I think my train of thought at that point was probably that I really wanted to have a more aggressive position there, to be able to kind of force minions in and like kind of like shoot them into these impenetrable copses that were going to be difficult for me to get to with Sonya Blade's projectile ability. My response to that crawler was an Avenging Angel. So Avenging Angel will come in with the additional abilities because he killed one of my minions last turn, one of them being Charge and Lethal. So that will kill the crawler, but it will also kill the Avenging Angel. Both artifacts will drop to the ground. I would love to be able to play another minion to pick them up, to kind of tentatively secure them. But unfortunately, I cannot. I took all 4 mana just to play the Avenging Angel. Instead, what I'm doing is moving the Cloud City back, and then having Sonya take a step on the Wuthering Heights. And then I think, I'm pretty sure what I was thinking at that point was just like, well, I need to secure these artifacts and prevent him from just like running up and grabbing them somehow. I didn't know if he had anything with Charge in his deck that would potentially allow him to do that. Looks like he's in Earth Water, so probably less likely that he had something up his sleeve to do that with, but I think I was just a little paranoid, and I didn't really have a better option with Sonya at that time. I mean, I could, move forward attacking with 2 points, but it seemed better to be able to somehow secure the artifacts onto Sonya, and then just kind of completely turn the tables with his strategy. So powering up my avatar instead of his, and then being able to shoot for just a huge amount of damage. So like that would be what, like 4 points of damage with a splash. I think so, yeah, because Sonya starts with two power. Vince playing a Forlorn Keep, getting a Penitent Knight out. I did peek in his hand a moment ago, and it does look like he has some ways to deal with the artifacts that are on the board, which I don't know at this time when I'm playing the game. But I saw at least an earthquake there, and an earthquake would remove all the artifacts and then potentially just, you know, kill anything that I had on the board. So I had to be careful about that. So I could just walk over and pick up the artifacts, but then I can't really make use of that on this turn. Instead, I'm going to play Gyre Hippogriff to pick them up, and then with the charge ability, move. Drop them, have Sonya pick them up, and then have Sonya activate her ability to take a step and then shoot a projectile. They're going to shoot the projectile, and that will kill the Penitent Knight. And then moving Cloud City to threaten to get into some additional kind of attack vectors here. Not taking an activation on Wuthering Heights with Gyre Hippogriffs. There's not a ton of value to doing that, especially with them tapped. Vince with the solution for the artifacts there, playing a Dispel. And another Crawler. Like I said, I think he went all in on this concept. So he probably has 4 of them in the deck. Sonya could move and shoot the Crawler, but the Crawler is 3 power, Sonya is only 2 now. She's lost the artifacts. So it's slightly less useful there. She could just attack into the Forlorn Keep, or she could move and shoot the projectile into Sub-Zero. The Hippogriffs could also attack into the Keep, or push forward from Wuthering Heights and then attack into the Copse, if I wanted to, the Impenetrable Copse. That's another possibility. I have a lot of movement possibilities on the board. The way that the realm this game has built out here, like Wuthering Heights. Like a lot of the times when you have these powerful movement sites like Wuthering Heights or River Rapids or a well-placed Rift Valley, you often just have the ability to get to almost anywhere on the board that you want with your assets. Which is incredibly powerful. So I mean, I'm taking a long time to think about it here, and I think I'm just like being a little more cautious because Vince has been able to tag a little more damage up to this point in the game, and I've only pushed in 3 points of damage so far. So I'm trailing a bit on life points here. Yeah, doing a push and attacking for 3 points to get the Hippogriffs positioned into the back row in the Copse. Cloud City. I think I was debating moving Cloud City, but there's really no need to. Well, maybe it would have been better to move Cloud City just to prevent him from the option of playing a site next to my Wuthering Heights up there. But just attacking in for 2 points of damage with Sonya Blade. So that was 5 points of damage in this turn, and then playing a Black Plague. Black Plague will kill the weakest minion at the end of my turn. If there is a tie, I get to choose as the controlling player who controls the aura. So the Crawler and the Gyre Hippogriff were both 3 power. I choose the Crawler to die, and then on my next turn I have options to move the Hippogriff away and still get a potential attack or strike in, because it's because the Hippogriffs have airborne. So I could fly it out of range of the Black Plague, dispelling the Black Plague if I don't need it anymore, and then maybe attacking the Forlorn Keep for 3 points of damage, or attacking Sub-Zero. Vince, I think he got confused at that point about what he had in his hand, or he thought he had something else in his hand. But he showed me that he had a shrink, and I think he meant to instead to play out that earthquake that we're seeing now. So the earthquake is going to go out. It's going to remove the Hippogriff threat, and now he's going to think about site reposition in a 2x2 grid. And I think he spends a little bit of time kind of Tetrising these pieces around, thinking about it, and ultimately decides that he liked the original positioning and is not going to do anything here. Or I could be wrong. I don't quite remember what happens with the site positions. Yeah, he's choosing to just leave everything where they are right now. Now he's still playing around with it. No, he's going back. He's going back and just leaving it as it was. I think he liked having the two cops, impenetrable cops, onto his back row there, just in case he had to run into them. I think was my, if I had to guess, as to what he was thinking. It's always hard to guess what Vince is thinking. He's a little inscrutable. So passing turn back to me here, drawing a spell for turn. Looks like I drew into a Torse Hammer. Torse Hammer will allow me to start pushing an additional point of damage per turn, which could be good. I'm still only sitting at 4 mana, which might be okay. 3 mana for a Stygian Archer onto the Wuthering Heights, and there's the Torse Hammer onto Sonya. Sonya, I think moving and shooting for 3 points into Sub-Zero. Electing to move and shoot instead of just attack Forlorn Keep, I think because I wanted to get a better position. Adjacent to impenetrable cops. At this point, because even if he decides to run into impenetrable cops, I think I can still activate the ability to take a step and then shoot, because when I take the step, I would move into the impenetrable cops, and then when I shoot, I'm shooting inside the impenetrable cops, and the sight's ability would not negate the projectile. At least not negate the projectile within that sight. Giant Shark coming into play on Vince's side here. Would be a little more menacing if he had some more immediate threats, like options for flooding. But right now it only dictates his body water is 2 sites. The Troll Bridge and the Undertow. I'm choosing to tap for a site here, and I think I'm tapping for a site because I need to bring my mana base up to 5 to maybe start making some bigger plays. Wuthering Heights can still push these archers into position, which is what they're going to do. Pushing into Forlorn Keep. Torse Hammer coming down for 4 points of damage. The last 4 points of mana for an Amphalos. Amphalos drawing a spell when I passed turn. It looked like drew into a Whirling Blades, which is a great card to bank in that Amphalos. It is a little risky just because as I've seen through this game, like Vince has a lot of options to deal with artifacts. I'm assuming because the way that he built his deck, he built it with like a bunch of Voltron artifacts, but then he also built it with a bunch of like solutions to artifacts. Again, but based on the nature, like the design in which like the Mortal Kombat avatars were created, they were all made to be like combat avatars. So it's really low-hanging fruit to kind of take artifacts that give you like plus power or combat ability bonuses, and then stacking them on them. So being able to have a way to remove those with earthquakes or berries or dispels is slightly important with these types of with these types of custom designs. 5 mana for Crawling Congregation, and again we see like when I was saying like, yeah, Vince went all in on kind of this concept in terms of like playing with projectiles with the game, with these combat avatars in mind. He's probably running like four crawlers, 2 Crawling Congregations, 3 Impenetrable Cops, like the whole package. Drawing a spell for turn. Looks like I drew into a Legion of Gaul, which is great because my mana base is now up to 5, so if I wanted to I could play it. I have the power showing on boards to bring him to door here. Archer is 3 points. Sonya is 2. So all I really have to do is attack into Forlorn Keep, and that will take Vince to door here. I don't even need the Torse Hammer in my hand to push an extra point. Vince, I was taking a while to kind of think through my turn here, and then Vince decided that based on what was showing on the table, he wanted to kind of redo his last turn, which was a bit. We do allow a lot of rollbacks in Sorcery, just because it's casual. It's what a lot of people like to call a casual competitive game. In more competitive tournaments, rollbacks are typically allowed until an action that reveals new information has been taken. And I had already drawn my card when turn had passed. And Vince knew that, and he said, "Can I take that back? I know you've already drew a card." And because this was a super casual tournament and we were just having fun, I was just like, yes. I said yes, of course, go ahead and do that, because we're just having fun. So he opted to kind of rearrange his turn here, and he played out of sight instead of moving Sub-Zero, so he had 1 more mana, and he could play the Shrink to reduce the Archer's power to 0. And that's just because, like, looking at the board, he also knew that based on what was showing, just based on what was showing, I could bring him to door on that turn, and he needed to buy himself at least 1 more turn to try to mount a comeback here. So again, it's up to you when you find yourself in those types of situations, if you want to allow your opponents to kind of do that. I think the general culture that we have in Sorcery is that yes, you are allowed to make you're allowed to make rollbacks, just because there are very few interactions on your opponent's turn where they can affect the outcome of what you do on that turn. In competitive tournaments, be prepared though to have people say no if you have done something that has revealed new information in the game. So if a defender has been declared, or if a card has been drawn, typically most players in those situations will say, "I'm sorry, no, you can't roll back at that point." But like I said before, like this tournament was so much fun, and then it was a casual tournament. It was just a really fun, like, custom, one of a kind experience using these avatars. And everybody there was just there to have fun. There weren't a lot of prizes on the line. It's just kind of bragging rights, sort of thing. Just everybody's just there to enjoy themselves. Vince with a surprise blitz here, attacking for 5 with the Crawling Congregation, and then playing a Helpful Hob to untap and attack again for 5. So buying that extra turn allowed him to get me to door first. And now I'm in a precarious position, just because, like I've said before, all of these custom avatars have that built-in kind of finishing move on the reverse of the card that they can access, and his reach is pretty far with that thing. So I need some sort of way to get away, and then also bring him to door. If I can get him to door and he can't finish me, it is very, very likely that I can finish him, just because I think I have a Whirling Blades in my hand. I think I have a Whirling Blades under the Omphalos. So I have access to 2 Whirling Blades, and I only need 1 once he goes to the door here. So yeah, I'm thinking through what my options are here, and just talking through that ability on the back of all the avatars cards, and how that's going to work. Because, like, if you flip it, you can take a step and then you strike adjacent. That really gives you like a reach of like 2, just from the avatar finisher ability. And we're sneaking in. We made custom tokens for the event. I 3D printed some of these tokens. They say finish him, which is the classic Mortal Kombat tagline. It's kind of silly. It's kind of silly having in Sorcery we don't typically use Death's Door tokens because they're not needed. But for this very specific event, it felt very fitting. And very fun to have them. So now we're both on Death's Door. I played one of my Whirling Blades to kind of run away. I took 2 steps back and then 1 over. Vince, however, he's playing a common sense, and then I asked them if, do you have the win condition, because you're fishing for an answer, and he's like, yeah. So he played a Riptide to move his avatar into Undertow, and then take that step with the Fatality ability, like that we've been talking about this entire video, to do the final strike. So a really fun game, a really close game. If he hadn't been able to tag me on that turn, I would have just turned around and Whirling Blades'd him again to finish it off. Super fun event. Thank you so much to the Emerald City Trolls, to the organizer Sean. Thank you to the local artist, I believe their name was Cameron, that did all of the art for the custom avatars. I think that was like 9 avatars plus the fatality graphic. everybody, it's a labor of love for the community. I think it was all done kind of like for free, out of pocket, and this was a free event. It did not cost anything to attend to. Thank you to Holy Mountain Brewery, the venue that we held the event at. Super cool brewery in the Seattle area. And yeah, this was just so much fun to be a part of, and this is, I think, what the sorcery community really thrives at. Just these custom experiences, and people coming together just for the love of the game, and just love of the source material, the love of kind of the mechanics, and just kind of feeding off of each other's creative energy like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.